Olympic figure skating champions Alina Zagitova, Kamila Valieva, last season's Russian Grand Prix final winner Delia Petrosian, and Sofia Akateva will take part in the 60 meters race on Nikolskaya Street in Moscow. This is reported by the publication RIA Novosti, with reference to the organizers of the event. The race will be held on June 5 as part of the Athletics Week. Alina Zagitova commented on her participation in this event. In my opinion, this is a very unusual and cool initiative. We will be able to test our strength not only on the skating rink, but also on the running track, in the very heart of Moscow. For me, as for many athletes, running is an important part of keeping fit and testing endurance. I hope that our example will inspire viewers to an active and healthy lifestyle. Kamila Valieva also spoke about the upcoming race. This is not the first time I participate in interesting running activities. A year ago, I already ran 5 kilometers as part of a charity run. Now it is interesting to test my strength in the sprint distance, which requires special concentration. Well, the fact that I will participate with the girls will add positive emotions. Such friendly competitions allow you to emotionally liberate yourself and take a break from training.
Сердечко. Там сидит Марк.
Alexandra Trusova is growing up, and her media content is also growing up with her. The figure skater is not shy about bright images on and off the ice. Recently, the athlete took part in a big photo shoot, presenting her fans with a series of vivid shots at once. The comments under the photos are, of course, laudatory. Colleagues praise Alexandra, fans admire her, and we show the result of the work of Trusova and photographers. Figure skaters Alexandra Trusova and Mark Kontatyuk flew to Thailand for a vacation. In her social networks, the skater posted several video messages in which she shared her impressions, and showed the villa in which they stayed. We flew to Thailand for a long-awaited vacation. Alexandra said.
Да? Привет. Такая красота.
Philip Shvetsky, who worked with the national team during the doping scandal around Kamila Valieva, demands compensation of 1 ruble. And rebuttal. He says he cannot remain a scapegoat and cast a shadow on employers. The doctor of the Russian national figure skating team at the Beijing Olympics, Philip Shvetsky, told TASS that he had filed a lawsuit with the Togliatti court for the protection of honor, dignity and business reputation against the publication Angle of View, in which he was called Dr. Doping. The lawsuit is related to a material published on February 10, 2022, with the headline, "The doctor of the Tuberidze group will be under suspicion for the doping scandal with Valieva." In the specified material, they refer to me as Dr. Doping, thereby publicly accusing me of criminal activity, in the absence of a judicial act that has entered into legal force. I requested compensation of only 1 ruble, since the main thing for me is work. I love my profession, and consider it necessary to remove suspicion from myself by excluding myself from the list of suspects in the case of Kamila Valieva, said Shvetsky. The doctor noted that he could not remain a scapegoat and work, casting a shadow on his employers and athletes. Shvetsky was a doctor for the Russian team at the Beijing Olympics, during which it became known about Valieva's positive doping tests for trimetazidine. In October last year, Shvetsky said that he was no longer working with the group of Atari Tuberidze, where Valieva is involved, but remains a doctor of the Russian national team and the Federal Medical and Biological Agency. The USADA Disciplinary Anti-Doping Committee acquitted Valieva in January, finding no fault or negligence in her actions, but deprived her of victory at the 2021 Russian Championship, where a doping test was taken. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, USADA and the International Skating Union, ISU, challenged the verdict in the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS. Moreover, WADA demands to remove Valieva for 4 years. Shvetsky was previously implicated in a doping scandal around the Russian national rowing team, ahead of the Beijing Olympics, the championship wrote. Then 6 rowers were disqualified for unauthorized intravenous infusions, and Shvetsky took the blame, who was later reduced by the Russian Rowing Federation. Sport Express also wrote that Shvetsky was the doctor of the skaters at the 2016 European Championships, during which Ekaterina Bobrova passed a positive doping test for meldonium. The doctor after this publication sued the newspaper. As RIA Novosti wrote, in 2020 Shvetsky was thanked by the President of Russia for his contribution to the fight against COVID-19, and in 2021, he was awarded the Badge of Honor for Courage and Valor in the fight against COVID-19, established by Department of Health of the city of Moscow. Andrei Kaminsky, head coach of the Russian men's biathlon team, told what other sports he is interested in. Unfortunately, I am not such an ardent fan, although at one time I was a hockey and football fan. I was ill to tears in my childhood, in my youth. Then he slowly cooled down and was no longer sick with such emotions. I like, of course, playing sports to watch. I also love athletics. By the way, I also love figure skating. This is the first sport that I started doing at the age of 6, smiles. Worked for 1 year. I went to figure skating to learn how to skate, to play hockey. I'm more into pair skating. Back in the Moscow team with Nina Moser, we often crossed paths and are friends. We still sometimes call each other. She was rooting for sprint skiers, now for biathletes she also has these types of favorites. And we are rooting for figure skaters, but most of all for pair skating. Now I follow less, but I like Maxim Trenkov and Valieva. And in women's single skating, I like Shcherbakova more, she has more life. Kaminsky said in an exclusive interview with Championship. The Ukrainian Figure Skating Federation, UFFK, sent letters to the leadership of the International Skating Union, ISU, and federations associations of ISU member countries, with a request to support the further prohibition of Russian and Belarusian athletes from participating in events and competitions held under the auspices of the organization. With this letter, on behalf of athletes, coaches, officials and members of the Ukrainian Figure Skating Federation, we express our respect to you, and ask for your attention and support in one important procedural issue. As second year is underway, we would like to ask for your clear and direct support in preventing any Russian and Belarusian athletes from participating in any ISU-sanctioned events and competitions. Recent attempts to ease the ban and exclusion rules for Russian and Belarusian athletes are causing great concern both among Ukrainian figure skating and the entire public of the country. We believe that the ban should be tough and invariable until the last Russian soldier leaves the territory of Ukraine, until all guilty Russian politicians, their supporters and followers in Russian society, receive well-deserved punishments and official condemnation. No justification of representatives of Russian sports teams and their entourage should influence these circumstances. We are grateful to the ISU for the strong and continued support of the Ukrainian skating federations, and ask for your understanding in this request to reaffirm and enforce this ban for the coming season. We also ask you to consider disseminating this position among all skating federations, expanding communication between them regarding this position, in accordance with our request described above, so that everyone has the proper and the same views on this issue. The UVFK letter says.